So, why don't you believe in yourself even after all the mindset work that you've done? That's what we're talking about today. The title is Why You Still Don't Believe in Yourself Even After All the Mindset Work. We're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about the missing piece that how to finally rewire the root. The root is probably not what you think it is. And I'm going to tell you right now that you are not stuck in your life or in your thinking or where you're at because something is wrong with you, something's broken. Not at all. It's you're feeling stuck. By the way, you're not stuck. You were born with unlimited promise and potential, and then you got programmed, and we're going to be talking about that. But the reason why you feel stuck is because of the identity you've been programmed to live from right now. So, and when I talk about being programmed, I don't, well, there's all kinds of programming in the brain, but let's look at your brain as a computer, and if you know how a computer works, which most people do know how a computer, basically the programming, and that is that you are given these you give the computer like all these commands, if this then that, or like if you've done an Excel spreadsheet or any of that kind of stuff, then it's that way, but all these commands, and then it puts it all together when you type in whatever you're typing in, say, a word processor like Word or something, and then boom, it comes up with, it creates your sentences, it does whatever it is that you're trying to do, it calculates this or that, or runs an app or runs a program or whatever it is. That's like your brain. Your brain is like a computer. So if you think about the brain as the hardware and the programming is the software. So let's start with there. And again, I'm going to remind you that you were born with unlimited promise and potential, and then you got programmed. You got programmed by most likely very well-meaning peeparoos, meaning like your parents, your teachers, your spiritual advisors, religious advisors, and so that's what you're dealing with. And they were programmed by people who were programmed by people who were programmed. So that programming goes back and back. And a lot of people, neuroplasticity, and this is what we're talking about. We were talking about science. We were talking about the brain and how it gets programmed. And the reason, if you think about at night, you come home from a long day at work, or you've been working as an entrepreneur and you've been putting in a lot of hours, or whatever it is, a long day with the kids, or cleaning house, and then you sit down and it's 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and you turn on the television, if you watch television, and all of a sudden all these pizza things come up, and even as it gets later and later, and then you get hungry and you're like, hey Joe, just call Schmo's Pizza. They know. Advertisers know. They know that you're at that time of day, you're hungry, and most likely time for dinner, and you'll get repeat, 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 because that is a rule of neuroplasticity. The more that something is repeated, the more often, the more that it gets wired into your brain. So every single thing gets recorded by the brain, and if it's repeated, 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 especially if there's emotion or something connected to it that's strong, an emotion or trauma or something, that gets wired in. So this is why, this is why you do what you do, and you feel the way you feel, and sometimes you feel stuck. So let's go ahead. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Lenny Wennerstrom. Oops, I hit my little microphone. My name is Lenny Wennerstrom. I am a certified self-talk trainer, and I am a certified life coach. So let's talk about today that why you still don't believe in yourself. And when I say that you don't believe in yourself, you think about where you have your self-assessing in you, and you don't trust what the decision that you're making, and you don't think you can do certain things. You think others can do things better than you. I'm not talking about a skill set. I'm talking about a mindset that, well, she has more money, she has more skills, she has more aptitude, she or he is better than me at this or that, or any of these things. And that may well be. But again, I'm going to repeat, and I will repeat throughout, because I want to put this into your brain. I want to program this into your hardware. You were born with unlimited promise and potential, and it's still there. That all that, it doesn't matter how old you are, where you're at in your life, you still have all of that unlimited promise and potential. It's still there. Okay, so I have said before that the root of the foundation of self-talk, and I'm speaking right now to the self-talk that I talk about a lot, which is Dr. Shad Helmstetter created. He created a program which has many programs that you just listen to, and it's repeat, repeat, repeat. Every phrase is repeated 3 times. It takes absolutely no time, and it's called it's self-talk. It's a positive self-talk. So he really figured this out, and it's amazing. I've been doing this for about 2 years at this point, rewiring my brain. And one of the areas where I think a lot of us think that we don't, we're not worthy, or we shouldn't charge this or that. Maybe if I just charge, especially if you're an entrepreneur, well, maybe if I just make $1,000 a month, or if I charge, $25 an hour or $75 an hour or something like that. Just really thinking that what we know, what we've learned, and all the schooling, all the getting certified, all the hours that we put into it are not worth that much. And I rewired my brain for financial success. And I used to come from that because I think most of us were born where we didn't have a lot of money. There were 7 of us, so 9 in our family. My father was a printer in the very beginning till he went back to school and became a psychologist, or not a psychologist, but a psychologist. I was thinking psychiatrist, but anyway, a psychologist. And so anyway, that but that was after we had all left. And so, but our programming was, can't afford that. And my mom would come up with any manner of ways to help us to get to get what we needed. We were all cheerleaders, football players. I mean, all of us were very active, all 7 of us. So it was a wonderful childhood in that, but the programming was, we're poor. We don't have as much as a lot of people. We, can't do that, can't afford that, can't take that vacation, don't have enough money, have to wait until the next paycheck to get it. And all of these programs that were in my brain that was about money is hard to get. And money is energy. Money is a frequency. And when you get that, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff. But first, I want to talk about the real root, because I talked about the foundation of self-talk is self-esteem. And that's not the real root. But it is and what I'm talking about is of Dr. Shad Helmstetter's, and then also, oops, I hit my microphone again. But also what I created, and something I created, is self-talk master keys. I created the self-talk master key system, which is only 5 minutes of that repeat, repeat, repeat that goes into your brain specifically for rewiring fear or something that is identity or something that is important to you now. Whereas Dr. Shad Helmstetter's covers like the whole gamut of, both of them work beautifully together, but it's like rewiring your self-esteem, starting with self-esteem. All the programs, the base, the foundation of both of ours is self-esteem. So, but then let's talk about the chicken or the egg, because that's all I'm talking about right there is just that program, the programs that we've created. The foundation of that is self-esteem. But what came first? Did self-esteem come first, or did your identity? So we're going to now move away from we're going to move into identity and self-esteem. Which came first, the chicken or the egg type thing? And before we go there, let's talk about what is identity. Let me pull up my notes here in my little hand, and I'm going to tell you that this is one of the deepest truths that people feel, but they don't really have the words for it. What is identity? Okay, it's not fixed, but it's not your name, not your job, not your personality. You may know that. It's the invisible frequency You carry the story that you're telling yourself about you, consciously or unconsciously. And it's the lens which you interpret the world and your place in the world. And identity shifts. It shifts every time you expand or contract with where you're at. So another way of saying it is your identity is who you think you are, and your brain is wired to prove that story true. And that is why identity is so powerful. It's the root of all your thoughts, your habits, your behaviors, and your outcomes. So, but where does, okay, first let's say that identity, it's programmable. Just like a radio tunes to a station, your identity tunes your vibration. And just like any program, it can be rewritten. And that is what you're doing with self-talk. You're not just changing your thoughts, you are upgrading your identity. Okay, so let's now again, which comes first, your self-esteem or your identity? And neither is the answer. The chicken or the egg, the programming, the identity or self-esteem, it is your programming that comes first, because that is what creates both your identity and your self-esteem. It's a reflection of your programming. So I'm going to share a sacred, powerful truth with you right now. And it's not, and a lot of people don't see this clearly. So I'm just going to read what I have. It's not self-esteem that's foundational. It's the subconscious program, the programming that creates it. Self-esteem isn't the root. It's the emotional reflection of the identity you have accepted. That's who I am. I'm this person. And that identity comes from programming. We all know about programming. We all know, oh, it's programming. We're programmed for this. We're programmed for that. If you understood the power of it, if you understood neuroplasticity, you would grab it with both hands and say, oh my gosh, Aruz, I am so powerful. I can change all of the programs that are limiting me, stopping me, that are holding me back, that are making me feel stuck. You could change those when you understand. And that is what I'm trying to get to today. So again, let's talk about how this happens. There's programming, then there's the identity, then there's the self-esteem, and there's the thoughts, then the feelings, the behavior and actions, and the results. So there's a chain happening there. It's a sequence that a lot of people don't understand. Again, programming creates the identity creates the self-esteem. By the way, we're going to talk about how the self-esteem rises or falls to the identity as how you see yourself. And then that creates, and then that creates your attitudes, which create your thoughts, your thinking, and your feelings, your emotions about things. And I'm doing a little chain across here, which creates your behavior and your actions, and that creates your results or your outcome. Think again, your computer. This is your computer, the hardware, the brain, and input will equal your output, your behaviors. The input, what is the programming? That's what's going to, whatever you have programmed in, and then all the stuff in between, that is your output. Okay? We're not crazy. We're just inputting and we're outputting. Okay, so again, you're not building self-esteem. You're restoring it by reclaiming the right identity through rewiring the program that created the wrong one. And when I say wrong, I'm saying wrong as in it's not serving you. It's not working for you. And so your programming comes first. That creates both your identity and your self-esteem. That is a reflection of your programming. Okay, let's talk about the illusion that confuses people. Most self-help teaches in any way, boost your self-esteem to become confident. Have you heard that? Like, you need to have a higher self-esteem so that you're confident. Go out and stand tall, do the superwoman pose and all of that. By the way, those things work because it activates the chemistry, and changing your mindset is, you can literally change the biology of the chemistry working through your body. When you do that, you're telling your brain, this is what I'm doing. I am in the superwoman pose, right? You got your hands on your hips and your legs are a little bit, your stance is apart, and you're standing tall and you're pulling up, and you're just like, man, don't mess with me. The superwoman pose, it works. It absolutely works. It is a very temporary fix, as is mindset. A lot of people will teach you, the self-help teaches, right, that boost your self-esteem, become more confident, work on your mindset. All of these things are great. They're very helpful, but what actually works is change your subconscious programming to install a new identity. Confidence and self-esteem will rise automatically to match that identity that you create. So what I'm teaching you here is it's not about loving yourself more. It's about deciding who you are. Love yourself like crazy, but decide who you are. And then rewire your brain with the programs that will help you. And I have a quiz that's going to help you to know exactly your self-talk style. This, and I'm talking about like negative self-talk. What are we saying in the over 77% has been estimated that that in our conscious minds it's negative. Is what we say to ourselves, what we hear, what we say is negative. It stops us, holds us back. Think about the things that you're saying. I mean, if you're even listening to this and you're nodding your head at any point saying, yeah, that's me. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I have enough. I'll never make enough money. I was born poor and I'll always be poor. That's the way our family is. I don't have good health and I'll never have good health because my dad died of a heart attack and his dad died of a heart attack. And I'm going to tell you something right now. That is a belief system coming from programming, whether it comes from society, culture, the pharmaceutical world, medicine. That's a program. Because if you know about epigenetics, you know that 30% is your genes and 70% is your environment. So what you're thinking, where you're at, what you're putting in your body, so the water, the food, the thoughts, the thinking, and you would no longer worry about, because I mean 30%, over 70%, you would no longer worry like, oh, my dad died of a heart attack, so and his dad died of a heart attack, or his mom and that mom, and I'm just, we all have kidney disease, we all have, you would be like, no, I create my own destiny in that. I am the director of my own life. And through understanding neuroplasticity, the way that the brain is constantly rewiring, then it's constantly changing and rewiring to whatever the programs that you're putting in it. And through epigenetics, you are the one that is saying you're turning on the genes or turning off the genes. And that's just how it works. That's science. Okay, so you weren't born with, so let me finish this. Okay, so I was saying it's not about loving yourself more. It's about deciding who you are, then rewiring your brain to match that decision. Because when your programming changes, and this is going to help you with epigenetics, this is going to help you with health or wealth or relationships or any of that stuff, your identity expands and your self-esteem rises to reflect that truth that you created for yourself. Because you weren't born with low self-esteem. No one is born with low self-esteem. No one is born with an identity. You were programmed to believe that you weren't enough. This is culture. This is that there's lack in your life when there is abundance. That you were born with unlimited promise and potential. Again, I'm going to repeat. I want to wire that into your brain. But identity is programmable. And when you choose a new identity, again, your self-esteem rises to meet that. So it's not a healthy self-esteem. It's the knowledge that the identity you have and the identity you want, that is up to you. You are in the driver's seat. It's up to each of us to create the identities we want to see ourselves and what we want to become. And this is a foundational key to human transformation. If you want real transformation, then you're in the right place, listening to the right message. Okay? So it's not about building self-esteem. And it's about choosing your identity. Self-esteem is a byproduct of the identity that you accept. You are the one accepting that identity. You're the one saying, that's who I am. This is who I am. And when you believe that to be true, again, belief, the programming creates your beliefs. Change the programming, you'll change the beliefs. So this is it. Identity. Self-esteem is a byproduct. When you consciously choose who you are, your self-esteem naturally rises because now it's aligned with your truth. Identity is your creative power. It's not set in stone. It's not set at birth. It's not assigned to you at birth. It's not based on past mistakes or even current circumstances. This is how powerful this is. So identity is a soul-crafted decision. And we make that decision over and over again through our self-talk, what we say when we talk to ourselves, the self-talk that we allow, the stories we repeat, and the vibration that we claim. Where are you vibrating? Are you vibrating at lack, that you don't have enough, you don't know enough, you're not good enough? Is that where you're vibrating? Or are you vibrating at abundance and you are unlimited and you can do or be, have, change, create, become absolutely anything? That's always my closing, because that's true. I want you to know that you're born with unlimited promise and potential. That unlimited promise and potential is still there. I promise you that. That's science backed. And that means you can do, be, change, have, create, become, and anything that you want. I'm missing one. I always say 6, but so this is, so identity isn't something you discover, it's something you decide, and once you claim it, your brain, your energy, and your life is going to rise to match it. I keep saying that it's you literally, your self-esteem will become, you will become the identity. You say, this is who I am, and then you start believing that, and that is who. This is why it's like when you hear about consciousness and in spiritual circles, and they say, just know that it's true, and it's so hard for most of us to do that. And I'll talk about that a lot, because I'm a spiritual guide and mentor as well. It's just I understand that in order to help my clients in life coaching and training the groups that I train in their self-talk, that it's the brain. If I can help get people to understand that they are in charge of their programming, all the spiritual that they if they believe they are unlimited, if I can help you to believe that, to understand that that's a truth, scientifically proven, that you can do and become anything just by believing it. And you can refer to teachers like Greg Braden or Bruce Lipton, which the biology, you can change your biology, and then Charles F. Hannell, the Master Key System, Joe Dispenza, and Caroline Leaf. All of these talk about neuroplasticity in different ways, and spirituality and how it works. I don't know if Caroline Leaf talks about that. She really talks a lot about the brain, but it's we're very spiritual beings. So anyway, this is basically what I'm doing, is teaching you identity redesign. Okay, so that's the story. That is the root of all healing. That is the root of all success, all awakening here on planet Earth. And best, what I do best, BEST, the bold evolution of self-talk. That is what my channel is about. And it is the bold evolution of self-talk. It's, even though this method is a powerful one, in that the self-talk master keys are part of that. But, and my course that I'm creating now. But this is an invitation to become who you were born to be, that unlimited potential that you have. You were born with that unlimited promise and potential. So I'm almost through my notes here, and I think we are just about done. So this is the bold evolution of self-talk, the best truth in its refined form, and this is what it's about. So it's why I want to invite you to join me. And joining me is simply to be aware of your self-talk, to know that it's programmable through neuroplasticity. Repeat, 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 one of the rules of neuroplasticity. And especially with emotion, if you just know it and you're excited about it and you add that emotion to it, you can see it. That's going to, your brain is objective, it's not subjective. It's not judging you or saying, well, that was stupid. That's your program speaking if you said that. My hubby used to always say, stupid, Steve. I was like, babe, don't say that about yourself. That's your mom talking, or that, but it's now you took on that program. And, or his dad or somebody told him that. I don't want to blame his mom, or I don't even know, but I would just say, that's your mom or your dad talking. That's not you. So he stopped saying that after many years. But anyway, the neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself constantly through repetition. It does not matter how old you are, how young you are, how old you are. Start in the womb. Start wiring for a healthy self-esteem. Start rewiring so that I imagine a world where there is no bullying in school, in corporate. We're not part of the Darwinian thing of the competition and the survival of the fittest, that this is a collaboration and that we work with one another and we lift one another and we don't see lack. Like, oh my gosh, that whole thing of separation on planet Earth, that planet Earth is duality, good or bad, wrong or right. When we move into oneness, into unity, we move into where we trust ourselves. We have no problem looking at someone else and giving them props for the goodness that they do, because every single one of us is unique, and we all came here to help one another, lift one another in our special way with our special gifts. So I wanted to share that with you. And again, you can do, be, change, have, create, become absolutely anything. And take the quiz, find out your self-talk style. I always have that in the description, and it's a great place to start to know where you're at. And then there's more in that as you take the quiz, and then you'll get your PDF and it'll tell you more about the self-talk. And know this, you can do this. I believe in you. I love you so, so mucho. And if you watched my live today, it's sideways. And it's sideways because I've never done a live on YouTube before. And for some reason, I'm not able to download it and then put it back up there. So anyway, I wanted to come back and do that same video so you could see me this way. I love you so much. I'm going to show you. It's raining. Oops, I just... Oh, salud. I have my little microphone here so you can hear me sneezing away. But look at, it's raining and the sun is out. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So I just wanted to show you how beautiful it is. I try to show you, you know, the views, because it's just amazing. Okay, well, that's all I have for you, and I want there to be peace in your heart. And these views, they inspire me and bring me immense joy. So that's all I got for you today. I know it's a little bit long. It's not as long as my other video, which was 43 minutes. I'll try to keep them shorter next time. I love you so very, very mucho. Please share this and take care of yourself. And LennyMotivates.com is my website. And I'll leave you with, please take the quiz so that you know your self-talk style, and know that you can do, be, have, create, change, become absolutely anything, or do anything. All right? Love you mucho. Ciao.